and that whether it's intentional or not, the sloth actually kind of cultivates a farm inside of its own coat that it uses to help feed itself too.
Well, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
so
fun
I
now.
mean, I'd seen pictures of these green tinted sloths, and always kind of wonder what the deal was. It helps act as camouflage, which is super helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you mention the groove in the center
What
of
were
the
you
hairs?
No.
This is gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
so each hair has a little
Why?
groove down
Oh,
the
it's
center,
gonna be
and that's where
luggage
the
now.
algae
Yeah.
is allowed to grow. And obviously, because they're not moving fast, you're going to get, more of a chance to grow too. But like you said, they are a little ecosystem into themselves in that
We
fur.
got a few more hours.
They did one study that found 980 beetles
Navigate.
living on a
Yeah, 1
single
second.
sloth, just taking roost in their little jungle coats.
Right.
And then there's this moth species. This is crazy. The sloth moth, which is another great band name, by the way. Cryptosis. Alepi. Coloepi. I always say just the E.
It's right or left.
O-E.
Right. And then
I think
it'll
you're
be
right.
left.
Yeah.
Coloepi.
Coloepi, something like that.
All right.
Tomato.
Cryptosis coloepi dire. And they actually colonize exclusively in sloth fur.
Right,
That'll
that's the
remember
only
where we
place you will
stopped this.
find that type of moth is living in the fur of a sloth.
Or
It's
it's
the
like
sloth
further
moth.
down.
Yeah, like totally a symbiotic relationship. They climb down once a
Head
week
east on Westgate City Boulevard towards South Holden Road.
to poop, and these moths lay their eggs in that poop. And yes, they can actually lay their eggs in dingleberries, sloth
Yeah, they do.
dingleberries.
Sure.
Everyone knows what that is, right? Do we need to
These
explain
are close
that?
to 800 views.
I don't know. I would say look it up.
Okay.
Like,
I think that's
what do
as
they
far as
title
we
this to
need
get
say.
everybody to click on it?
So the adult moths emerge from this poop,
Look at this doofus.
and they then say,
In
"Mama,"
a quarter mile, make a U-turn.
and they fly up and take rest in the sloth's fur.
Right, and then they mate and reproduce, and then they lay eggs in the sloth poop, and the circle of life continues. But again, this type of moth you won't find anywhere on Earth
Maybe they'll
except
have
in
it
the
ready
fur
for
of
us
the
that
sloth.
week, so-
And then there's also beetles in there, and so as these things like grow and die and
It's still pretty
decay
early in
and
the day.
other plant
It's
matter
that data
and
rush that gets them.
whatever's floating around in the air in the rainforest all kind of
Make a U-turn, then your destination will be on the right.
Well, I could've got in there.
combine and get stuck
still
into
didn't
these
hear.
grooves in the hair of the sloth fur. It forms this algae, and they know that there
Well,
is
once we make
a
the
relationship between the sloth moth and the algae, in that the sloths that have the most moths also have the most algae. And they figured out it's just basically this decaying matter.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, this is too weird. Camouflage, that kind of makes sense. But the fact that there's a moth that only lives in the sloth fur, and the more of those moths there are, the more algae there is, it's just too weird. And they tested this algae, and they found that it's rich in fats. And for a very long time, they're like, okay, the metabolism kind of explains how a sloth can sustain itself. It's just, it burns so little energy that it can live on very, very nutrient-sparse leaves. But it's still kind of a mystery. It doesn't fully make sense. And they think they figured out that the sloth, as it's grooming itself, eats this algae, which is
Don't slip.
high in fats, and that supplements its diet of leaves, and that's really the combination of these leaves and this algae are what keep the sloth alive over its lifetime.
And in the meantime, their urine and their
Good idea
feces
about
are
picking
fertilizing the tree that is their habitat,
Right?
where these moths are also laying their eggs. So it's just like this really unique symbiosis going on between plant, animal, and insect.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to be doing great.
Yeah, and one of the I was like, well, how much does that really help? Because the sloth is pooping at the base of the tree once a week. Does that really help?
Sure.
And apparently it really does.
Slow
And it's not one of those. It is slow release. You just nailed it. So sloths are so slow, their poop actually slows down the decomposition in the tree. Because in the rainforest, decomposition happens so fast that the tree is actually nutrient depleted because the decomp happens so fast. Sloth poop slows the whole process down and actually nurtures the tree even more.
Yeah, it seems like everywhere the sloth goes, everyone just chills out.
Well, it's coming up just a couple weeks away. We are finally bringing back the Two Guys Named Chris Comedy All-Star Show for 2 nights this time, too. Friday, February 11th at the Carolina Theater in downtown Greensboro. Saturday the 12th, downtown Winston-Salem at the Stevens Center. And we've got 3 of our favorite hilarious comedians, too, by the way, lined up for this. Kelly Collette, Greg Morton, and Mike Merrifield. You will be laughing your rear end off. You can look them up. Details right now, rock92.com, and tickets just $20 to get you in.
Little rainbows trailing out of its behind. That's what sloths have. You have to look closely, but you'll see it.
Sounds like a story my daughter would make up. So, you can share
Yeah,
a
a
birthday.
mile away.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Hey,
that's...
which is coming up.
No,
Actually,
man.
probably right around the time this is released. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, happy
birthday.
birthday, Ruby.
all right, we'll take a break and we'll come back and talk about sloth sex right after this.
Oh.
Hey, everybody. In case you didn't know, Valentine's Day is coming up. You know, if your special someone hasn't already reminded you.
That's right, but hey, listen.
I'm making
the
a
middle is
left
coming
or a
up.
right
You
here?
won't be caught unaware because luckily Macy's has you covered with
Head south on Westgate
Right.
City Boulevard toward Beasley Street.
their gift finder and amazing gifts at any price, even $25 and under.
Yeah, you need more inspiration? Check out all the great ideas at Macy's.com.
In 400 feet, turn left onto Cowrie Boulevard. Take the next left onto Cowrie Boulevard.
/gift finder. Macy's has all the best gifts for cozy nights in, date nights out, treating yourself, celebrating Galentine's, and luxe gifts for those who like the finer things in life.
That's right, you can find the most sought-after gifts from Macy's best brands like the Martha Stewart Collection, Dior, Kendra Scott, and Coach. And while you're there, don't forget to treat yourself because you deserve a delightful fragrance, new self-care beauty routine, or beautiful jewelry yourself.
Yep, so again, that's Macy's.com/gift finder. And put the fun back in Valentine's Day.
What happened?
I wanna check
What are you checking?
Good news.
See if
You
I
hit
can
your Q1 KPI.
see
Very
something
nice.
with the video.
But remember this, you still
The
have
app.
3 quarters to go.
Yeah.
Ooh, but HubSpot
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Pinecroft Road.
can help get you there, everyone. When you look out into the sea of CRMs, it can look extremely blue, but HubSpot brings a more human touch to business.
That's right. The CRM platform
Take the next right onto Pinecroft Road.
is easy to use, and it aligns your team seamlessly, plus it delivers a better experience for your customers.
It's designed to fit the needs of Aussie businesses from the coast to the bush and help you put the personal back
Continue on Pinecroft Road for 3/4 of a mile.
into your business.
Right, where other CRM platforms are cobbled together through acquisition, HubSpot has a bespoke collection of proven tools, components, and systems that seamlessly work together so your team can focus on what really matters, which is to say, your customers.
So learn how to grow better by connecting your people, your customers, and your business at HubSpot.com.
Good news, you hit your Q1 KPIs, very nice. But remember this,
In a 1/4 mile, turn left onto Azalea Drive.
you still have 3 quarters to go.
Ooh, but HubSpot can help get you there, everyone. When you look out into the sea of CRMs, it can look extremely blue, but HubSpot brings a more
What are you
human
trying to
touch
look up?
to business.
That's right. The CRM platform is easy to use, and it aligns your team seamlessly, plus it delivers a better experience
different.
Take the next left onto Azalea Drive. Then your destination will be on the left.
for your customers.
It's designed to fit the needs of
Uh,
Aussie businesses from the coast to the bush and help you put the personal back
I'm
into your
sorry.
business.
It
Right,
says
where
that
other CRM platforms
758
are
of the
cobbled
views of
together
YouTube
through acquisition,
recommendations.
HubSpot has a bespoke collection of proven tools, components, and systems that seamlessly work together so your team can focus on what really matters, which is to say, your customers.
Your destination is on the left.
And then 400 of them are from direct.
So
or
learn how to
unknown.
grow better by connecting your people, your customers, and your business at HubSpot.
Maybe it's recommended to people now that so many people are starting to watch it. I don't know. It's a little odd, don't it?
Yeah.
Did I get any other subscribers?
Oh yeah. Top
All
external
right, Chuck, you
sources.
promised it. You have to deliver. Sloth
Yeah.
sex. Blow by blow. Go.
So
Top
here's the
video
deal. This is where
suggestions
things
video,
like, if
and
you're
it's
like,
your
all right,
regular
the sloth is
video.
the cutest thing,
Yeah,
and
one of
this is
your
all
many
adorable, and they're just
videos.
amazing. They are all those things.
Hands
This is
customer,
when you
leave it at
might,
the door.
I just want to prepare
No,
everyone
no,
to
you
be slightly disappointed, maybe a little bit, with
Leave it
the
at
next
the
couple
door.
of segments.
Okay.
Because, first of all,
Wait.
sloths, you want to
The
just,
customer requested you
Yeah,
leave
leave
the
it at
order
the
at their door. They added the following instructions.
Yeah, 2718.
Leave at my door.
think they sit around and just hug and love on each other all the time. They're solitary creatures. They don't want to be around even other sloths.
No, but this is something that you can have
Gotta get a
to
picture.
kind of pick yourself back up after that devastating blow.
Okay.
In a square kilometer
Oh, yeah, get
of rainforest, there might be something like 700 sloths.
So they're
So
close.
even though they're very dense neighborhoods of basically shut-in weirdos. Imagine that. That's a sloth community.
The most devastating thing is coming up later. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, you need to get a picture.
The
Of,
males, like, let's say two
no.
sloths did find
I
themselves
don't like that drop-off location.
on the same tree. They might get into a little fight, but more than likely they'll just, one of them will leave and they'll go find their own tree, and it might be a tree 10 or 15 feet away, it sounds like. But it's their own. They look for new trees also when they're searching for a female partner. The males do. And they mate very quickly. It lasts just a few seconds, and then the males leave the female. They don't have anything to do with the babies, which I looked up and I was like, surely they have some cute name like sloth babies, but they're just called sloth babies, which is cute enough, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
It's not bad.
So we were talking about fertilizing trees and everything when they come down and poop once a week.
Yeah, I know where this is headed.
So
Pretty
that was
good.
In 500
No.
feet, turn left onto Argonne Boulevard.
a big mystery. Like, why would you?
Take the next left onto Argonne Boulevard, then turn left onto Dulair Road.
Well, the orders are
If you're a
coming.
sloth,
Yeah.
coming down from a tree to poop uses up about 8% of your
30, 20.
energy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense because it leaves you vulnerable to predation. Some researchers say we got to figure
Take the next left onto Dulair Road.
it out. They're leaving scent markers on the tree
Right.
to signal to other sloths, come on over here. I'm open to whatever freaky stuff you want to try.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Pinecroft Road.
Sloth friend.
Yeah, anal secretions. So, like a male sloth will literally just say, I'm just going to rub my anus here, and I'll meet you back there at 11 o'clock.
$5.
They leave
$6.
little rainbow trails.
$6.
I guess so.
It's
The
a-
female can also, and I heard
Head northwest on
Chick-fil-A?
Dulair Road
No.
towards Chantilly Place.
Charlie's Philly Sticks.
Oh,
In
yeah.
500 feet, turn right onto Pinecroft Road.
What was the mileage?
these,
Like
looked at
2.5
Next
miles.
right onto Pinecroft
6
Road.
miles.
some videos
It's a
on
mile
the
to
female
get there, so-
mating call or whatever, because they can also put
Not
out the
bad.
call that they're ready. And it's described as a high-pitched scream here in this article, but it sounds sort of
In a quarter mile, turn right onto
I got a
Vansdory
sloth
Street.
screaming.
bird-like. Like if I was in the jungle and I heard this, I would think it was a bird.
Yeah, it's not
Window
sexy
in the
though.
back? Oh, my window in the back.
It's not sexy, it's animal.
Fun.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Did you get
weird.
that reference or
Good
not?
right here.
Yeah, I did, but I appreciate you saying it was a reference.
Beverly Hills Cop. Balky.
Oh yeah.
His little cameo in Beverly Hills Cop.
He was one of the all-time greats.
I never watched that TV show.
I know you
Take the second right onto Vansdory Street.
did, and Chuck, you're missing out. Remember, I keep going back to that piano moving episode, and it was just one of the greatest pieces of physical comedy ever. Yeah.
Really?
But yeah, also, and it wasn't just Balky. Like Balky and Cousin Larry were
In a
really
quarter mile, turn left onto Four Seasons Boulevard.
well cast. They were perfect foils. Just seeing Cousin Larry get like his last bit of patience just break, and his eyes get really big because Balky did something. It was a beautiful thing to behold.
Cousin Larry, was he the other guy, the main guy?
Yeah, I see a DVD box set in your future.
Were they actually cousins?
Turn left onto Four Seasons Boulevard.
In the show, yes,
Well,
but not in
yeah.
real life.
I mean, I don't know the setup at all. Is it that he has this wacky cousin from another land that all of a sudden shows up on his doorstep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Balki Bartokomous from, I can't remember, they say it a bunch of times, but he's like a southern central European type guy, like
Gotcha.
from the Balkans or something, like Latvia or something, and he comes over to America and he stays with his cousin Larry.
I'll have to check it out. It's funny, all the great TV out that's mounting on a list. I'm like, I'll have to check out Perfect
In
Strip.
800 feet, turn left.
Right, exactly.
It's on my list.
It should be high up.
So, the woman puts out the mating call. The males, there may be competition for
Huh?
for that lady
through those.
who
Oh,
is
yeah.
in need. And
Turn left, then you will arrive at your destination.
if they do fight, they will fight upside down.
Here? Yep.
And like you said, it's a sloth fight
That's where
is,
nobody
I guess,
drop
pretty
off at?
cute, as it turns out,
It
right?
is cute.
No,
Yeah,
I think
it is cute.
we'll use
So,
drop off is on
yeah,
the
the
other
males
side.
will fight to
Oh,
the
that's where it's at.
to the
Let's go
hurt,
to.
bruised ego, and then one of them will leave, and the male that remains will say, "Okay, give me a kiss, baby," and then they'll have
You've arrived.
they'll do
Marcus
it like a
Rhodes
few
store,
times.
too.
Yeah.
But it's really fast apparently. I have enough pride to not look up sloth sex, but from what I read, it happens very quickly, and then that's that. And like you said earlier, the male just kind of moves along. Like, good luck
That's
with
it.
our children.
Two
And then the
Philly
sloth,
cheesesteaks and some fries.
gestation period depends on whether it's a
Round
two-toed
one.
or a three-toed sloth, but it's somewhere between 6 and 11 months. And then a sloth mom will give birth to one sloth baby
Yeah.
at a time. or
No
whatever.
litters.
Nope, just one cute little baby.
So here's where it gets devastating. They do nurse their young for a little while, but again, that takes a lot of energy to nurse a little baby. So they only do that for a couple of weeks before they wean that baby onto solid food. The mommy is passing along all the information that the baby needs to know about what food is and how to hang and live in trees. And they do cling to their moms, which is super cute, for about 6 to 11 months. And then they are off on their own, although they do, this is sort of cute, they do share a range with mom, and apparently will stay within calling distance of one another.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all great, and I know I'm set everyone up for heartbreak. So here it goes. If a mommy sloth is up in a tree, and baby sloth slips and falls down to the ground, mommy may just leave baby there.
Yeah.
And that is like
It's too much work.
really hard for me to accept.
I know. I
Oh.
know. Because a baby sloth is cute. Adult sloths are cute enough, but a baby sloth is just like eye bleach, right? So, the idea of it just being like, well,
Down there on their own,
sorry, kid.
waiting to be eaten.
Jada.
It was a great 3 months we had together,
Send me a
but
picture
I'm
of
not
it.
going to put myself at risk of being vulnerable
Yeah, hold
to some sort of
That's the
predator.
deal, right?
Oh, wait, hey.
Yeah, that's what they think is that the
Nah.
baby's just not worth it to the sloth, which is really sad. I would understand that if there were sloth litters,
Yeah,
maybe
same.
one of them fell off, or that they didn't bond, but they clearly do bond during the piggyback phase of the baby's development.
Yeah.
So they think that it's just too much of a risk for the sloth, and the sloth says, "Better you than me, kid."
Yeah, this disturbed me because I was the same as you. I was like, if there was a litter, I get it. Or if they, like, they're highly successful, so you would think
Mhm.
that, you know, after a 9, to a year of gestation period, or if they pump babies out like every month or so, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Right.
But I don't know, it just seemed like it was worth that 8% energy and maybe a risk of panther feed, being panther feed.
Right. So I mean, I guess it would if the baby falling happened to coincide with the mom having to poop at the base of the tree. Maybe the baby has a chance then.
I'm
But,
going to save you because I got to take a dump.
Right.
Oh, man. So let's just go right past that because that is still super sad for me to think about. They do live for about 20 years in the wild, which is pretty good for a mammal, especially one that slow and that, seemingly defenseless.
Yeah, that's the three-toed.
Yeah, the three-toed. The two-toads live about 12. In captivity, though, they can live 30 and 40 years, including our old friend, Miss C, at the Adelaide Zoo in Australia, who just died a couple of years ago at the old age of 43.
From what I understand, she's the oldest known sloth to live.
She looked
And
good
the
too.
fact that she looked great up to the end, like Phyllis Diller. And the fact that that sloths' lifespans double or triple in captivity
Yeah,
really kind of says a lot about just how frequently they fall victim to predators.
yeah,
Like that's what kills sloths.
Yeah.
It's not fighting with other sloths. It's not falling from trees. They can withstand that. It's being eaten by a predator. That's how sloths typically die. So when you take them out of that situation, they tend to live very long. But like we were saying at the top of this episode, they're not necessarily happy. They get very stressed out when
Yeah.
humans handle them, and they can actually die from stress. They look happy, but they would much rather be at their home in Central and South America.
For
They're
sure.
really difficult to keep alive because remember, especially with the three-toed sloth, they're real picky eaters, and they learn from their mothers what constitutes food. And so whatever tree that their mom's been living in, basically that specific tree
Yeah.
growing in a rainforest in South America, that is what constitutes food to the sloth, not anything else you could possibly come up with. And so they'll starve in captivity pretty easily, actually, especially if they're kept in captivity outside of Central or South America.
yeah. So if they do, let's say you're a wildlife management professional and you come upon a little baby sloth that has been dropped, they will rescue that sloth if they can and try and rehabilitate it, but the goal is to get it back into the wild as soon as possible. Not like, oh, it's so cute, we're going to keep it around for a little while. I mean, there are clearly some in captivity, but it's not like a common zoo animal that you will see.
Right. There was one other thing that was kind of a quirk of their metabolism. So they're mammals, which means they're warm-blooded, but they're actually not really warm-blooded because they produce so little energy and
Right.
heat through their metabolism. They actually use the same kinds of strategies that like snakes and lizards do, where they use the sun to adjust their body temperature, which means that if it gets too hot, they can overheat and die. If it gets too cold, they can very easily freeze to death because
Yeah.
their body temperature changes with the ambient temperature. So that combined with the fact that their food comes from a single tree in Central America, that makes them really difficult to keep alive in captivity, which is why, like you're saying, they want to rehabilitate them back into the wild. That's the goal of it.
Yeah, and while they are doing pretty well out there as far as their status goes, they are, of course, threatened in the sense that any animal in South America in the rainforest is threatened because of deforestation. This is just, the sad fact. All animals, even if they're doing well, are going to be threatened if you're hacking through and leveling their habitat, like is what is going on, pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah, that's the biggest threat is deforestation. Although for the pygmy sloth that lives on Escudo Island off of the coast of Panama and
Yeah.
nowhere else, because their habitat is so limited, any deforestation that happens there has put them in grave danger. But it's basically cutting down the forest and then building roads through the forest because sloths will go from tree to tree on the ground sometimes, which means that when they encounter a road, it's hard to get from one tree to the other aside from on the ground. So a sloth crossing the road is probably not a good gamble for the sloth. But the more roads we build through the rainforest, the more sloths get hit by cars, which is about the saddest thing you could hit by a car or with a car.